Join us for this week's episode of Two Angry Men, where your hosts Harvey, Levin, and Mark Geragos discuss Cardi B and Stefon Diggs. Enjoy!
Look at the disparity in the way they're treating two players where one gets their full support and the other doesn't. And I'm saying the Patriots are basing their statement on the merits of a way that the person plays football. Mark, I think there is a scandal brewing in the NFL right now, specifically with the New England Patriots. And it has to do with Cardi B's boyfriend, who is one of the star players of the Patriots, Stefon Diggs. There is something that happened to him, which I'm going to get into in a minute. And you look at the reaction of the team with him, and then you look at the reaction of the team with another player who had a similar incident. And I'm going to show you a huge difference. And I think this is kind of a scandal brewing. So the quick background is Stefon Diggs had a personal chef, a private chef. And according to her, she was supposed to work the entire season. There was a week in November where he said, I don't need you. This is according to her. And she said, nope, you hired me for the whole season. You're going to pay me. And he said, no, I'm not. And they started arguing over this.
Yeah, but this is all according to her.
All according to her.
Correct.
On December 2nd of this year, this month, December 2nd, she
Correct.
says that
we're taping this, by the way, still in December. Maybe when it lands, it won't be.
She says that she went into his room and they started arguing again about money. She says he lost it. He slapped her across the face and then almost choked her out. And that was December 2nd. So she ends up on December.
Let me guess. I'm going to take a wild guess here. You and I haven't talked about this before, but I'm going to guess there was no immediate complaint.
She didn't go. Well, it's interesting. She goes to the police on December 16th. So about 2 weeks later.
Right.
And she lays all of this out, but says, I don't yet want to file a criminal complaint.
Right. Because can I take another guess? Does she have a civil lawyer already?
Well, I'm going to be guessing too, but my guess is yes. We're on the same page. But I want to get into what the Patriots did, because to me, this is the most interesting thing. On December 23rd, she calls the police back and says, I want to file charges. So they're filing charges against him for strangulation and assault.
Right. I saw that. What do you think happened between December 16th, when she said, I'm going to make the complaint, but I don't want to press charges, and December 23rd?
She had already had a lawyer go to Stefon, I believe, and said,
exactly. And
I want money.
Want money.
And
by the way, I'm a personal chef, and you know what I do? I go into my employer's room and I demand to get payment, and he slaps me and strangles me.
Okay, but
by the way, does that pass any smell test that you whatsoever?
It doesn't flunk it for me.
It doesn't?
No, it doesn't. I mean,
and she waited. She gets slapped. Most women I know, if they get slapped, they're not waiting around to make a complaint.
Here's what I think happened. I think right after December 2nd, she had made some sort of a money demand. I have the police report, and when she went in.
Well, that's cheating. You've got a police report, and you didn't even send it to me.
I know.
Too much. Let me guess.
Okay.
After December 2nd, how soon after December 2nd was a civil lawyer involved?
I don't know. There's no evidence of a civil lawyer. I will tell you that she says that when she went there on the 16th, she told the police that they were trying to settle up with her, but they wanted a non-disclosure. She wouldn't sign it. And so they were clearly going back and forth on money. And
Can you read exactly what she told the police about that?
she says, after the alleged assault on 12/2, this is what she's telling the cops on the 16th. She says, Adams, this is the woman, Adams left her position and left the residence to stay with a friend. She says that on 12, I believe it's 8 here, she returned to the house to get her property. At that point, she texted with Diggs, who told her to take up the monetary sum with his assistant. She spoke to Melissa from finance, who explained that Diggs had requested a signed non-disclosure agreement from Adams before she could get paid. Adams did not sign any such document. So there's some reason that Stefon Diggs wanted an NDA. So I know you're saying, oh, this sounds like BS, but there's some reason Diggs wanted an NDA, right?
By the way, I know what I mean. Can I tell you? I know where you're headed. You're headed, if I had to guess, that the Patriots have not suspended him.
Well, I'm going to get,
correct?
I want to get specific about this. So let me just tell you what
Okay.
happens. So it's pretty clear to me they're negotiating, can't reach an agreement. On the
Correct.
23rd, she calls the police and she says, I want to charge him. So they go after him. So here's what the Patriots say. This is their statement. The New England Patriots are aware of the accusations that have been made regarding Stefon Diggs. Stefon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. We support Stefon. We will continue to gather information and will cooperate fully with the appropriate authorities in the NFL as necessary. Do you find it interesting that they're saying we support Stefon and then say, but we're going to help investigate?
No.
And
Can I tell you why?
But let me just say real quick, I am in no way saying that I believe her or I have no idea what happened. But what about the way the Patriots are jumping and saying, we support Stefon, but we'll continue to investigate and give stuff to the NFL?
Because let me tell you what happens. I have defended these with players of the ilk or caliber of Stefon.
Who is an
And
A star, A plus player.
exactly right. I think what has he got? A $69 million
He's
contract for 3
huge,
years or
huge
something.
for the
Huge
Patriots,
contract.
and they're going into
Plus-
the playoffs.
Plus, he dates my favorite person in the world, Cardi B, who I
Right.
like to invoke her legal acumen all the time. But first of all, I have been there, done this on at least 5 occasions. When the NFL has got a robust investigative process. They've got a former prosecutor, actually 2 former sex crimes prosecutors who work for them internally, who will do a internal investigation on specifically these kinds of allegations. My guess is, and I've also been adverse to the Patriots in a couple of cases, including having what's his name the owner sit across the table from me while I do his depot. He is Robert Kraft, and it comes from the top down. He will question, in my experience at least, I don't have any inside information here, but I'm going to guess he's talked to Stefon Diggs. He's not buying what she's selling.
Do you think? Do you think he talked? Do you think they talked to her?
Yes.
They talked to her.
I don't know that he talked to her.
Isn't that,
Isn't
relevant?
I think if there are texts between either Stefon, his finance people, and the accuser,
And there are,
looks-
let me tell you something. The texts do not help Stefon. He is nasty to her.
well, maybe because he's pissed and he's being accused of something he didn't do.
Before.
What does he say before?
They're just. I'm not even going to read it because
Well, read a couple. Well, how can you say they're nasty and not read them?
Okay. She said, you will paying me out for the season. You said you would give me money for my business, wasted my time. I'm out of your life. He says, I won't be paying you shit. Fuck. I look like paying you and paying another, and I can't read this next word.
And you think these are horrible for him? It just sounds like somebody who's pissed off.
I don't think they're good, but he's making it clear there is a dispute over money. Now,
Correct.
no,
It's a money
no,
grab.
I
I mean,
get
it's
it. I
got all
get it.
the indicia of a
But
money grab.
Mark, look, I don't know who's telling the truth, but they're
Neither do I.
But
I will tell you based on my
are they saying,
experience.
why are they jumping to the I think there's an answer, Mark. Why are
Wait.
they saying we support Stefon Diggs and then say we're going to continue to investigate?
Because I will tell you, and I've been in this identical situation. If they do just a preliminary investigation and they see what is happening here, and it looks like it's a money grab, and they were using the investigation or the threat of criminal action in order to leverage a civil settlement of some kind, then they are in tune enough to know, believe it or not, that there are people out there who engage in this kind of activity.
Well, that's
And
that's a
I've been there.
scenario, but that's not the
Yeah,
only scenario.
correct. I agree. But if they believe him, and but God forbid they give him a presumption of innocence.
Okay. So now I'm going to give you another statement from the New England Patriots, almost at the
Okay.
same time, involving a different player, Christian Barmore. Okay.
What does his contract look like?
He is a really good player, but not nearly the star that Stefon Diggs is. And I think that's relevant. Here's what the Patriots said about Christian. The New England Patriots are aware of reports regarding a pending February arraignment involving Christian Barmore, which stems from an alleged domestic incident that occurred in August. The Patriots were made aware at the time of the incident and informed the NFL in a timely manner. So far, it's consistent with what they said
With
about Stefon.
exactly.
The matter
By
remains.
the way, is that matter?
Let me finish. The
Okay.
matter remains part of an ongoing legal process. We will respect that process, continue to monitor the situation closely, as we have over the past few months, and cooperate fully with the league. Where in that statement are the words, we support Christian, the way it was in the Stefon Diggs statement?
I'm going to take a wild guess here. I don't know anything about that case. Who is the purported victim, aka accuser, in his case?
Mark, you know they haven't done a full investigation
Who
on
is
either.
the purported accuser in that case? Is it
Well,
his wife or significant other?
all they're calling it is
Is a domestic?
yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to guess that it does not have the earmarks of what the previous case involving Stefan Diggs does.
I cannot
And there
believe
is a qualitative difference.
you literally think that if somebody works for somebody, they're automatically lying and that it's a
No.
But
If
that's
there
the way
was
you
somebody,
sound.
no. Well, now you sound like you're in the TMZ comments. But this is what I would suggest to you. If the first situation in front of with Stefan Diggs was somebody who claims to be slapped on December 2nd and immediately either goes to their lawyer or to the police and makes a report, and you don't have a series of texts saying, give me money.
I got
I would
texts.
say that's different.
I got texts. They were
Give me money.
They were in some kind of look. I think the one thing I believe is true based on everything I've read is that they have two versions. That she says, you agreed to pay me the full season, period.
Correct.
And he says, there was a week in November where I didn't need you, and I'm not going to pay you for that week. And you're going to have to go somewhere else. And she's like, that's not what we agreed to. And he said, yes, it is. And there are these text exchanges where it's clear they're arguing about that. So
Is there anything on those text exchanges after December 2nd?
I haven't seen any.
Okay. I would want to see a December 2nd text exchange where she says, why do you think you could just slap me when I come to get paid? And he says, I'm sorry, I lost my temper.
Mark, again,
Just because somebody wants to get paid and they don't go and make a prompt report, and they say on top of it that they hold it over your head for 2 weeks, and then they're negotiating, and then there's an NDA. All of that has the earmarks to me of a shakedown.
Why does Stefon Diggs want an NDA?
Because Stefon Diggs is a target. When you make that kind of money, when your significant other is Cardi B, you protect yourself. Look at what Cardi B just went through. Cardi B just went through a very public trial where some clown was suing her, and the clown, I'm not referring to the litigant as much as the lawyer, but suing her for some ridiculous thing that made absolutely no sense. And she was vindicated, but she had to go through a public trial, put her whole life on the side, all because somebody thought it was going to be a payday. So why, if they weren't putting NDAs out, I would tell them they're not listening to their lawyers.
If it's only about paying for the week, Mark, why would
Yes.
you need an NDA for that?
Because what obviously there was those texts. What dates are the texts, Harvey? Let's get the facts straight here. What date are the texts?
The text, I don't know the exact date, but they precede the.
How do we know?
Because that's the way this is. That's the way the incident report is written. That it precedes.
Well, I don't. The way the incident report doesn't mean anything to me. I want to see the text.
She said, "I won't be paying you shit. Fuck. I look like I'm paying you and paying another chef. Is you high, bitch? Who got to give you money for your business? I don't got to do a motherfucking thing. And you can get whoever you want. You got my address. Tell them to come take the money. Then fuck you. Show me I'm a pussy."
So far, I haven't heard a single thing that other than the fact that he probably should have shut it down. I kind of feel his pain.
I'm not
He's coming
saying
off of
I'm
a
not
very
saying
public trial with his wife or his significant other.
I'm not
He has
saying
been
he's
through
right.
all that.
I'm not
What
saying
are
he
you
did
saying
it.
then?
You're saying you just don't believe her. I'm saying I don't know, and I don't think you have the facts to say you don't believe her.
I'm saying so far you haven't presented a single thing other than a police report that talks about undated texts and somebody who didn't sign an NDA because she wanted more money. That has all the earmarks. And by the way, an organization.
All the earmarks?
Yes.
What earmarks?
They number one, did not go make a prompt complaint. There was no fresh complaint that we know of. Number two, didn't go to the police. Number three, goes to the lawyer.
She went to the police 2 weeks later.
Police.
She went to the police 2 weeks later.
Correct. Right. After she couldn't come to a deal.
Okay. But why is that?
By the way, what's the definition of extortion? Do you know? Well, you're a lawyer.
If she said
threatening criminal prosecution or to gain a leverage,
I understand
in a civil matter.
But we don't know that in the first 2 weeks whether she threatened to go to the police or not. We don't know that. You don't know that. I don't know that.
I've been through enough of these situations to know that there is a pattern to these shakedowns, and I'm going to speculate wildly. I'm speculating wildly that there was a threat to go to the authorities or the police unless more money was paid.
My point is, I don't know.
Which is what? Your point is you want the Patriots to suspend first, ask questions later?
No, my point is look at the disparity in the way they're treating two players where one gets their full support and the other doesn't. And I'm saying that the Patriots are basing their statement not on the merits of a case, but on the merits of a way that the person plays football.
I think there's a difference between if it is a domestic case in the latter instance and it's a spouse, that I think, at least for the accusation, that is markedly different than some chef who's trying to get more money.
So spouses don't make up things?
No, but they've got a history. The NFL and the Patriots especially have got a history with domestic violence that they've been, I hate to use the term, beaten over the head with. But there are, I mean, you don't have to look any farther than Ray Rice. I mean, they were excoriated, right? You did it.
We broke the Ray Rice story. And if you remember what happened with Ray Rice, he was suspended for a grand total of 2 games. And then we got that video of him beating this woman up in the elevator. And all of a sudden, they're like, oh, well, okay, we'll suspend him for a season or something like that. And
Well, that video was about as appalling as you can get.
But do you think they said that the video came to them? You don't think they looked at it
I
before
don't
we
know.
got
I
it?
don't think, I do not. I would be surprised. I would love to see evidence that they had that video
Oh,
when they had only suspended him for 2
there's
games.
evidence.
Then I am
Oh
surprised.
yeah,
I
yeah.
confess to
I
being
mean,
surprised.
that was
Anybody who looks at that
a
video,
scandal. And all I'm saying is, look, this is the way of the world, that superstar players get treated differently than other players. And I'm not, again, I want to make this clear. I am not saying I believe the woman over Stefon Diggs. I have no idea what happened. The reason I wanted to talk about this is I just find it really interesting that the Patriots distinguish these two cases that come up just at the same time. They prejudge one and don't prejudge the other.
I think prejudging is a bridge too far. Well, all they said, they didn't give full support or whatever else. I can see that. I can see a distinction here. I really can.
What?
Now, the distinction is a spouse who's not got
I don't know if it's
generally
I don't
an
know
axe
that
to
it's a
grind.
spouse. I don't know that it's a spouse.
Call it a significant other, without an axe to grind, without text demanding money, without a 2-week lapse. There are certain indicia.
I have no idea.
Cases.
What you just said, I have no idea what the lapse, if any, was with Christian.
Well, wait, you know that there was a lapse with Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, but you know what?
And you know by the way.
Can I just ask you something about this?
Yes.
If somebody decides, if you put your hands on me and
if I slug you,
Yeah.
like in the middle of this argument, I say, Harvey, move over, I'm going to hit you in the head.
and you hit me in the head, I have 2 options. I have 3 options. I can go to the police. I can tell you, I want you to pay for my medical bills and my pain and suffering, or I can do both.
Or you could go to a lawyer and you
Okay,
could text
so
me
why-
and say, pay me money.
Okay, and
or
why is that-
I'm not
why-
going to go to the police.
Well, like you said, that's extortion if you say it that way.
Right.
But if I just say, pay me money, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Right. And if you say that.
But why does that
if you
make
say
me
that-
less? Why does that make me less credible?
Well, wait, why does it make you less credible? Because what is your motivation? If your motivation is to be made whole, then why are you invoking the police? If you're invoking the police, why are you looking to get money first before you go to the police?
Because maybe you want the money first, and if you can't get the money, you want a pound of flesh.
That I'm with. I got that. But then you're going to have to take the consequences of making that choice.
But the consequences, you say, basically tarnish your credibility.
I agree. Yes, it tarnishes your. By the way, when you're in a courtroom and a witness is on the stand, one of the things you do is you delve into a motive or bias, and money is a motive or bias.
See, here's the difference. Right? But wait a minute. But here's the difference in this case. The difference in this case is that it wasn't that she just suddenly asks for money. The argument was over money. So the whole the impetus for everything that happened was money. They were arguing over money. Pay me. I don't have to pay you. You owe me. I don't owe you. I'm not going to pay you for that week. You promised you would. No, I didn't. So everything is about money that leads up to December 2nd.
And all of that is prior to, based on your rendition of what you know, all of that is prior to when somehow she goes into his bedroom and demands the money, when he's already cussing her out and telling her, I'm not going to give you money. Then miraculously, she's in the house. Miraculously, she's in his bedroom. Miraculously, he smacks her around. She still doesn't go to the police, but waits 2 more weeks. You find that to be a coherent, believable story?
You keep saying, I am not co-signing on her story. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm going to give you one other.
I'm saying, I got a pretty good indication of what I know.
I want to give you one other little tidbit here. Remember I told you she went to the police on the 16th, right?
Right.
She says, the police says in this, she said that earlier in the week, she received a voicemail and text messages from a female that she believed to be Diggs's girlfriend. You know who Diggs's girlfriend is?
My hero.
Yes, Cardi B.
My heroine, excuse me.
Based on these messages, Adams believed that Diggs somehow knew the police were contacted. The messages stated something to the effect of, quote, "You don't need to do all this. It's not that big of a deal." That's an interesting statement, if that's true.
Right. And then you're talking about if, and boy, we're really out on that.
What is not that big of a deal?
Okay. My question is,
I think I
you're
got
talking
you.
about,
I think I got you.
oh my God, Cardi B has just had the most
I love Cardi B.
How did you not love Cardi
I
B?
love Cardi B. But what
And
about
she's
that
thinking,
statement?
I just finished this and now I got to roll the rock up a hill again?
I don't have the text message or the voicemails, but if she's right and she's telling the police this,
Do the police have the text messages or the voicemails?
Well, it says that based on these messages, she said early in the week she received a voicemail and text messages. If she erased them, I agree with you. That's a huge red flag. But
if they didn't exist in the first place and she made it up.
But Mark,
I don't know. I don't even know who this person is.
If she has them, Mark, and this girlfriend, whoever that is, says that it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
That's not about a week's pay.
I don't know that it is. Maybe she's upset. For all I know, the woman said something else. And by the way, how would she explain something to me? How is it that this purported victim suspects that somebody may know that she's going to the police unless this purported victim has already threatened to go to the police?
Look, you may be right. I don't know. She was saying the police must have contacted Diggs. That's what they say in the report, that she believed the police contacted Diggs. The police said we didn't do that. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying to you is,
by the way, Harvey, you just made my case.
No.
If the police are saying they didn't contact Diggs, then clearly the only way that Diggs and his significant other could potentially think that the police were coming is, guess what? Because either her or her representative said, "I'm going to go to the police. Fuck you."
So
blah blah blah.
Okay, so there may be extortion. I don't know. Again, I have
It's the definition of extortion.
I get it. Okay, but that doesn't mean the incident didn't happen, Mark.
Yeah, but guess what? If you don't have some other corroboration, and all you're doing is trying to piece this together on a he said, she said, and you've got somebody who's committing at least arguably extortion, that tends to undercut any position they've got. Most prosecutors who look at that are going to say the same thing.
If there is a voicemail or text message from Stefon's girlfriend saying, "Drop it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not the week's pay."
How much is that worth? How much is that worth to TMZ?
No, it's not.
If somebody just give me a ballpark. What is that voicemail worth?
See, you are just missing my point. You're being an advocate for Stefon Diggs. I am not being an advocate.
You know who I'm advocating for?
Who?
I'm advocating for Cardi B because
oh my God.
I'm telling you that I think that most of this is you have to look through the prism or the framework of Cardi B just having gone through a complete bullshit case and trial in Los Angeles.
Okay, and
she's right on the heels of that.
But I agree with you on that. I think it was a bullshit case. You're right. But look, can you just... What I am saying is I don't know. I'm not supporting this woman. I have no idea whether she's lying, telling the truth but extorting him. I have no idea. The only reason I raised it is I just found it really interesting that the Patriots, on the heels of the playoffs, would say, we support Stefon, but they're not saying we support Christian. And the only, I know what you're saying the difference is. I think the operative difference is one is a better player than the other. That's what I think.
Well, I suppose one way to find out when is the arraignment for Stefon Diggs? Isn't it before the championship game?
It's after the playoffs.
Are you sure?
It's in sometime in late January.
Time will tell. Time will tell. We'll see.
Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, Harvey.